What if I told you the biggest crimes in the world happen in daylight? No masks, no sirens, no handcuffs, and often no laws are broken. In the next few minutes, you might feel uncomfortable because this story is not about villains hiding in shadows. It is about suits, spreadsheets, handshakes, and paperwork thicker than a phone book. Here is the hook. In 2008, the global economy collapsed. Millions lost homes, millions lost jobs, trillions vanished. Almost no powerful person went to jail. Pause that thought. Let it sit. Because this is not an accident. Today we are exploring how the rich commit crimes without ever breaking the law. Not with guns, not with robberies, but with rules. And they helped write those rules. Before we continue, ask yourself one question. If something hurts millions of people but stays legal, is it really innocent? Drop your answer in the comments. I read them all. Now let's begin the story. Imagine the law as a massive maze. Most people see walls. The rich see doors. Hidden doors. Golden doors. The first trick is called legal engineering. It sounds boring. That is the point. Boredom is camouflage. Picture a factory dumping poison into a river. If you did that, you go to prison. If a corporation does it with permits, consultants, and loopholes, it is called compliance. The water turns black. The fish die. The paperwork is clean. This is not crime as you imagine it. This is crime wearing a tie. Here is the cliffhanger. If this is legal, who decides what legal means? Hold that thought. Let's talk about tax avoidance. Not tax evasion, avoidance. One letter difference, one prison difference. A teacher pays taxes automatically. A delivery driver pays taxes automatically. A billionaire hires an army. Accountants, lawyers, shell companies, trusts. Islands with palm trees and no questions. Money moves like fog. You try to grab it, it slips through fingers. Suddenly, the profit is not here. It is over there, somewhere sunny. The government loses billions. Schools lose funding. Hospitals lose beds. But on paper, everything is legal. Ask yourself this. If everyone did this, would society survive? Comment yeah or no. Now let's raise the stakes. Remember the housing crash. Banks sold dreams wrapped in debt. Homes became lottery tickets. Risk was hidden. Ratings were fake smiles. When it exploded, the damage hit the bottom. People slept in cars. Savings evaporated. Stress turned into illness. And the architects? They got bonuses, not prison sentences. Why? Because the law punished theft, not complexity. Here comes the transition. When rules are too complex to understand, they stop protecting people. They start protecting power. Next chapter. Regulatory capture. Imagine referees paid by one team. That is not a metaphor, that is reality. Regulators are supposed to control industries, but many regulators come from those same industries. They plan to return there. Careers are doors that swing both ways, so laws become soft. Fines become jokes. Warnings replace punishment. A billion-dollar company pays $1 million fine. That is not justice. That is rent. Stay with me, because it gets darker. Let's talk about monopolies. Competition is the heartbeat of capitalism, but monopolies slow the pulse. A company buys rivals quietly. Prices rise slowly. Choices disappear gently. Nothing illegal happens. Just contracts. Just approvals. Consumers pay more. Workers earn less. Innovation suffocates. But the law says it is fine, because the law was written when the internet still screamed. Here is the emotional core. Imagine your favorite local shop closing. The owner smiles and says thank you. Inside, they are crushed. They never stood a chance. Now we enter the grayest zone. Insider advantage. The rich do not need insider trading. They have insider timing. They fund politicians. They shape policy. They hear whispers before headlines. A law changes next year. They move money today. You find out later. Is that cheating? The law shrugs. Quick pause. If this is hitting home, tap like. It tells the algorithm this matters. Let's continue. Another weapon is arbitration. You clicked agree without reading. We all did. Hidden in those terms is a shield. No court, no jury, no spotlight. Corporations resolve harm in private rooms with rules they designed. Transparency vanishes. Victims feel alone. Patterns stay hidden. The cycle continues. Still legal. Now zoom out. This is not about evil masterminds. It is about incentives. If the system rewards harm and calls it success, people will chase harm. If punishment is optional, it becomes a cost of business. Think of it like a video game. You would exploit glitches too, especially if you never got banned. Here comes the cliffhanger. So why does this keep happening? Because money talks in the language of law. Campaign donations, lobbying dinners, policy drafts written after dessert. The law becomes a mirror. Regular people shout. The rich whisper. Guess which voice travels farther? Now let's flip the camera on you, on me, on all of us. Your pension might invest in these systems. Your phone plan, your grocery store. We are inside the machine, not outside it. That realization hurts, but it also matters. Because systems change only when attention sticks. When questions get loud, when apathy breaks. So here's the transition to action. This video is not saying all rich people are criminals. It is saying crime evolved. It learned grammar. It learned patience. The biggest damage today is done quietly, with signatures, with smiles. Now I want to hear from you. Should something be legal if it causes massive harm? Should complexity excuse responsibility? Who should write the rules? Drop your thoughts below. Debate each other, respectfully. If you learned something new, share this. Not for me, for awareness. Subscribe if you want more stories like this. Stories that look past headlines. Stories that ask uncomfortable questions. Because sunlight still works, even on legal shadows. And remember this final line. The law decides what is legal. Morality decides what is right. The gap between them is where the richest crimes live. See you in the next one.